Why do they keep fucking doing this to me? I can't! Thanks to the Magia Pass and summer missions, I'm close to 140 rolls, but it's not enough! Anniversary is in 1 month. I gotta hold out. But they're so hot. This melon design had to be intentional. Mitama probably picked the outfits after all. They turn into mermaids! So pretty! And an anchor weapon? It's like they know me! Sorry. If it isn't clear, I love these designs. But moving on to the actual review. They're a Magia type, meaning good attack, average defense, and low HP. Their just set is 2A 2B. I mean, when you put an A gorilla and a C gorilla together, it only makes sense to give them blast, right? They're also a void type, which means they have no elemental weakness, and thus it helps their bulk a little bit. Don't you worry though, they'll be getting a little more help. Full gauge overdrive is the first thing to catch my eye, granting a boost in attack at full health. Unfortunately, that's about all you get, but at full HP that's a total of 30% bonus to attack. Beyond the usual Magia and Doppel ups, Blast Adept is the only other normal damage buff you get in Spirit Enhancement. As expected of a Magia type, they also have MP gain up and a total 30% Magia damage boost, which is pretty good. And that's all well and good, but Regen and Evade start to tell a different story, especially when noticing her active skill. Barrier is a new skill that essentially adds a new HP bar to your unit. For the duration of the skill, 5 turns in this case, all damage is dealt to that barrier instead until it runs out. Of note, if HP already had damage on it, it'll keep that damage when the barrier goes up. This is important for 2 reasons. If there isn't enough durability on the barrier to take an instance of damage, the barrier eats up whatever it can, and the excess is dealt to the unit's HP. So be careful if they're already at low HP. Another is that full gauge only cares about HP, so it won't proc if you have any damage even if the barrier is full. Gladly, the 35% heal on active and passive regen are there to combat both of these issues. I should also note that damage over time statuses like poison will always take HP, with or without barrier. With all that said, a 10k barrier for 5 turns is an amazing buffer. Pop it off on turn 1 and you can enjoy the full HP attack bonus for 5 turns. The only problem is that the cooldown on this is 10 turns. Gladly, they have other sources of barrier in their kit. Well, not in her connect. That's unremarkable at best. Their Magia deals damage to 5 random enemies. I shouldn't have to tell you that it's better with fewer targets. But the key effects here are damage buff and more barrier. You should note that barrier will not stack. A new barrier will overwrite whatever barrier you have, but only if the new barrier would have more HP than what you've already got. If the barrier has the same HP or less, it's completely negated and you're stuck with the old one. Timing is key if you want to sustain your barriers. Though, to be honest, 5k off the normal Magia isn't a lot in the first place. You want to aim for Doppel, or Magia 2, as that gives 10k and extends the damage buff to everyone. AoE support is always good. In short, Barrier grants Momomita a surprisingly good amount of survivability despite her on-paper average bulk. In places like EX, 100 Evils, and Mirrors, this essentially grants them a free hit or 2. But the spicy game plan is more centered around using her barrier to maintain full gauge overdrive. 30% attack is no joke. Pop her active on turn 1, try to get to Magia 2, lather, rinse, and repeat the pain. This will definitely be relevant in Kimochi, where you want to optimize damage wherever you can. In other content, you'll at least maintain it for a turn or so, depending on how much the AI wants to beat down on your barrier. Honestly, this is a great unit to introduce barrier with. They introduce the basic purpose of the skill, while also enabling a less conventional use of it that showcases the potential design space it has without it being immediately overpowered. I'm interested to see what they do with barrier in the future. But seriously, holy fuck, they look so good. Please be Sparkable and Annie, please be Sparkable and Annie. Oh, and in the time I've been writing this script, I've been told that they're actually sirens. So, hot girls sing to me, leading me to my death, but it's hot girls singing to me. Worth it.